The Chernobyl disaster was a cover-up of something terrifying. I now know the truth of what happened. I've always been a very adventurous person, so a few days ago when I went to a trip to Chernobyl, I decided to ignore all the terrifying stories of the locals and started exploring the radioactive area with my friend Alexei. I assumed we would find nothing but an empty wasteland, but I couldn't have been more wrong, because we discovered what no tourist was ever meant to find. After hours of walking through the creepiest forest on Earth, we saw a dirt road appear out of nowhere, and that's when we made the worst decision of our lives by deciding to follow it. After we walked through the road for what felt like hours, we ran into an abandoned Soviet building. I had so many questions that needed answers. What was this building doing here? Why wasn't it on our map? And why did it look like it was built more recently than the other ones? It was the creepiest situation I had ever been in. But what made me truly scared was the enormous metal door right in front of me. It was sealed like something horrifying was behind it. When we got closer to see if there was any way to get in, we saw that someone spray painted on a wall, "Do not enter." That should have been the last of it. But now Alexei needed to know what was in the building, and I couldn't just leave him. So we started to look around for any other ways to get in, but we couldn't find any. And for that reason, we decided to set up camp right next to the steel door. That night I couldn't sleep though. Any normal person would have just turned the other way and never come back. But here we were, sleeping right next to a place that was full of radiation. The next morning when we woke up, Alexei wasted no time and packed everything into our backpack. After eating breakfast, we started to search again for a way to enter. But as we were looking around, Alexei found a secret tunnel hidden behind a broken concrete wall. So after walking through it, we entered into the building and immediately realized this wasn't a bunker or emergency shelter like we thought it would be. This was a classified Soviet laboratory. I wanted to turn around and run as far as possible away from this place, but Alexei was already going down the stairs, so I had no choice but to follow him. After 5 minutes of exploring, I saw something that made my stomach turn. There were bullets everywhere, just floating in the air like gravity didn't exist. Some of them were super hot, as if guns fired them only a few hours ago. There was no going back from this, so we decided to follow the bullets, which led us to the head scientist's office. When we got in, we found a logbook open on the desk. I decided to open it up and read through the pages, but what I saw on the final page made my heart stop for a second. The entry on the final page only had 3 sentences. "We let them in. We let them in. We let them in." I screamed Alexei's name so that he could come read the entry, but he didn't say anything back. So I got out of the office and found him just standing motionless in the laboratory corridor, staring at something that I still can't explain. In front of him were hundreds of military uniforms just floating in thin air. It felt like all the people who were wearing them suddenly disappeared into thin air. I told Alexei that we needed to get out of here as fast as possible, and he agreed. So the second we turned around to run away, I realized something wasn't right. The echoes of the steps weren't syncing with the steps anymore. They were multiplying behind us, getting closer with each passing second, as if someone was following us. As we were running, Alexei fell to the ground, right next to a ventilation shaft. I stopped to check if he was still alive, and immediately after I heard a bang, the vent cover exploded. Some dark fluid started to leak out of the vent and grabbed Alexei's legs. But it wasn't just regular liquid, because it started to pull him towards what remained of the ventilation shaft with unnatural strength. I looked at him for one final second before he vanished into pure darkness. I knew I would be next if I didn't get out of the building, so I ran around and ran out the tunnel. Once I got out, I thought it was all over, until my phone started to explode with messages from someone random. Every single message said the same thing. "This is Dr. Anatomoros. If you've entered the O13 facility, seal it and walk away. What came through the conduit isn't human, and what leaves wearing human skin isn't your friend anymore." And before I could even take a moment to understand what he just said, I heard a voice behind me. It sounded just like Alexei, but it wasn't. I'm currently writing this while hiding in some bushes. I think he's close to me. Someone please send help.